All right. Welcome into the half. There we go. We both can't push buttons again, Eric. So my name is Aaron Montgomery. This is Erich Campbell. Eric, how are you, sir? Appreciate you showing up.
Doing all right. Doing all right. I think we've had our share of technical difficulties today. So here's hoping we don't continue having technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But, these things happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I was doing some, because those of you that didn't catch the Two Regular Guys show just a little bit ago, at the very end, I fell off. I was having internet issues, and I did some speed tests in between the two shows here, Eric, and I was getting 100 plus upload and 0.08, or I'm sorry, 100 plus download and 0.08 upload. So there was our problem.
That might be not quite symmetrical enough to get you on the show. Yeah. I'm thinking you need at least 5 to get rolling. I mean,
yeah.
You'd rather have 10.
Yeah. I also did discover that my son was doing a FaceTime video and playing an online game with his friend at the same time, while my wife was also doing all sorts of stuff on the internet. So maybe that could have been part of the problem as well.
If people wonder why sometimes I run to the beautiful and brilliant studios in the morning when I'm going, that is one of the reasons. No,
yeah,
my wife in school again, it's not as much, but hey, sometimes you like to be on that big fat connection all by yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
when you have the opportunity,
Yeah, you do it. You take it. All right.
Thanks, Brian.
Who is? Yes, exactly. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks,
Brian.
Let's
see who's checking in here. We've got Jeff and Adam Fuller joining us. Thank you, gentlemen.
Awesome. Happy to have you in.
Hello again, Martha.
Yes.
And Rich, good to see you. Hello. And Ramona. Sorry,
Ramona is here.
I don't know why I'm tongue-tied now too. New technical difficulties with my mouth. That's weird. Okay. Good morning, Ramona.
Yes.
Can't wait till the kids go back to school so we can get our internet back.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit of that. Some folks are definitely ready to have a little bit of home time on their own, apparently.
Yep. Well, our kid goes back to school on August 23rd. So not that I'm counting down the days. Right,
I was about to say, you really seem to know that date really clearly, my friend.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, Eric. Well, we're here at the half. What questions you guys have for us? We're, just wide open, no agenda, no preconceived. This is what we're going to talk about. We're here to talk about what you guys want to talk about. So start getting those questions in there. Anything, everything. Why is Eric so handsome? Let's
none of that is real. I don't know why you wanted to go there. Is the question I got to ask you, my friend.
You're a handsome guy, man. I like it. Yeah,
I trimmed up. I trimmed up today. I'm feeling better. I because I have to say, since you guys do know about the house routine and all the trouble with my at my end, keeping cleaned up and shaved up and nice has not been the top priority with no hot water at the house. But hey, like I said, I've just got to. All I have to do is think about our good friend at Almade and his Wim Hof ice bathing, and I feel like an ass, and then I just shave. I shave in the cold water and just be quiet.
Yeah, he chooses to get in cold water. You're forced to.
I'm sure that he occasionally showers hot, despite all the Wim Hof ice bath method. I think that he still occasionally gets a hot shower, and I'm gonna guess, my friend.
Yeah, I would hope so. But hey, if that's your thing and you're into it, I mean, it is pretty cool, and I know there's
do your thing. I think
health
it's
benefits
awesome.
to it for sure. I've tried it a little bit, but I'm just a little too into my comfort of a nice warm shower.
I've done the cold shower thing. I don't mind it necessarily. I mind it every day, and also I live in New Mexico. It's hot. It's nasty. It's not like you don't get filthy every day if you go outside.
Yeah.
You want to get showered up. That desert people, you all know, it's just dust.
Yeah.
There is dirt on everything, including you.
Yeah.
So
Todd mentioned that their kids start at 8 a.m. Tuesday, and they will be out for drinks by 8:15 a.m. So
you're not even going to be wait to be fashionable, are you, my friend? Hey, I get it. I understand, but I don't ever know what to do with myself when I'm alone entirely at home. Like that's been a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. Usually, more work. That's the thing about the home office. And if you're an entrepreneur of any kind, you've got a home office of any kind, you know that that short commute means that you're always on too, that you're always jumping in to do something.
Yeah.
So that's, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
But I think it is comfortable.
Yep. I was recording video at 2:30 a.m. last night. So, it just, like you said, when the moment hits you, when you work at home, you work at home.
Yeah. Stuff for in Brilliance. Brian actually commented, we were on Skype the other morning. He's just like, I just saw you react to one of my comments at 2:45. You okay? I was just like, yeah, well, there were some fires to put out and I had to do this and that. And I was working on some print ads. And so I jumped up and got them done so they'd have them in the morning. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that was 2:30 in the morning when I started, when I finished up that print ad. I'm like, I don't know, that was the best option to do, but hey, that's how that works.
Yeah. And, that's just the way that it goes. Now, I also know that then you have the freedom and ability to,
to be here,
take a nap if you need to, or
sure. And honestly, to do things like this. I mean, this is not my primary gig right now when we're on the half or on the shows. Yeah. But part of that freedom is also that sometimes you do late night stuff when you need to.
Yeah. People are just not
move your time around.
People are just not filling up our Ko-Fi account because we haven't really put the website out there yet. But that's
yes. We do need to work on the half.club. I think that's something I need to. I didn't do anything. Aaron did all of it, but I do need to bring it in.
I don't necessarily think I want credit for it, though. It's kind of a big ball of anyhow. The half.club, check it out. Just kidding.
You want to buy us a coffee? We have the account. Feel free. We will accept your coffee. Because we obviously run on it since we're up till 2:30.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So Todd says mimosa flight, so it's okay. Yeah,
that makes it totally fine. Okay. Yeah, as long as you're drinking champagne screwdrivers, apparently you're good. So.
Yeah. All right, Sandy. Thank you for getting us on track here. Can we talk about full-size Applicate nylon flags? I have a customer wanting one, wondering if it's something I should try to tackle. I've got 15 minutes of experience, Eric, so I'm going to leave this for you.
And what I'm going to be honest with is I probably have 15 minutes experience, because when we're talking about something like nylon flags where it's a very specific item, I may not have done that stuff. And you probably have to find somebody who's got more experience, because my experience with doing flags, we ended up doing a lot of sublimated stuff because we got to a point where full-size applique flags are really cool. They are fairly expensive to do, and a lot of people wanted to get two-sided, and we ended up just doing two-sided sublimated and then sewing the two sides together. So what I'm going to say is, you have to have the sewing field for it, depending on the kind of flags you're doing. I don't think they're super difficult, but it's something that honestly, as a primary business apparel decorator, I haven't done a ton of. Okay. The other thing I will say, though, is for me, a lot of that is in the cutting and finishing. Make sure you know what you're doing there, because you don't want to have to mess with, raw edges on your stuff. But I mean, most nylon, you're not going to have a problem where you can do, heat cutting other things to make that decent.
So would finishing be like the sewing portion of it, or like the actual cutting? No, with like a hot
I'm just talking about like, cutting the applique pieces themselves. Gotcha. Because if you're doing it with nylon, with something light like that, if you're having to do a full cover satin edge on anything you're appliquing on it, you're going to be applying a lot of distortion and force to that nylon. And that's where I've had issues doing it, is where we weren't set up for cutting that stuff necessarily. If you cut on a plotter cutter or by hand, now you've got raw edges on the nylon, depending on the kind of fabric you have. If it frays or not, you want something that's going to cut it hot, I would assume, so that you have a finished edge. For us, it wasn't something I wanted to do all the time. And it's and this is the other reason, actually, I was going to talk about this. Ramona has a good comment here. The applique fabric will make the flags heavier. They might not have the flow you want. That was the other reason we went with sublimation, so we had a single layer. Or that even if there were double layered, they weren't super heavy. If you end up doing a lot of applique stuff, or it's multicolor, multi-design applique, hey, different thing if it's a hanging banner that's supposed to hang flat, because some of the stuff that we did do in that range, because I've done a bunch of appliques banners, but they were ones that hung from the top and the image was vertical. And so we had these kind of sash style vertical banners, and I've actually done a few of those, quite a few. But those were often out of like satin, heavier materials that was not like a nylon floaty flag. That's the difference that we have here. In all honesty, there are certain things where if I got into something like that, I would look for a specialist. Large spans of material that have a repeated pattern, I might do the design work, but then I'm going to have somebody who does span work do the execution on it. Same thing with the nylon flags. I would probably be looking for somebody to do that myself. But that's, like I said, it wasn't my core though. Okay. If you're trying to develop into the skill set, that's one thing. If it was something that's completely outside of your core, like it was for me, it was a lot easier for me to subcontract that kind of stuff. And like I said, hanging banners where it's not supposed to fly, very different animal than a flag that's supposed to literally, that's catching the air and it's supposed to be light enough to fly.
Nice. Okay. All right. Excellent. Thank you for sharing. And Ramona, thank you for jumping in there as well. Hopefully that helps.
Where I always wish I had better information for you. Every once in a while you hit a blind spot for me and I've just got to say, like, this is what I know and this is what I don't know. But I'd rather tell you the truth on that and say,
sure. I get blind spots all the time. I know a guy, that's always been my thing. I know a guy.
Well, that's the thing. We talked about relationship building this morning, even though we were talking about customer relationship building. Other reason to go to the trade shows, a good way to know a guy, good way to know someone who does the job. And I think honestly, it's very much like talking to people about emblems too. I mean, a lot of discussion about patches. I love doing small run. By the time I'm into the thousands, I want to go to an emblem company and have them do it. It's not that I don't want to do them. I want to do the work. I want to do the design work. When we're talking about production in the thousands, now an emblem company is going to do a thing that's at scale that I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing, like flags is that way. And honestly, a lot of we looked into doing pad printing at the last shop I was at. And then we're like, okay, why are we printing hard goods with pad? We know nothing about it. We don't need to set this up for ourselves. We don't need them on that quick of a turnaround. Go have a ad specialties person do this.
Yeah.
Don't start printing pens yourself for no reason aside for doing it yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's times where equipping yourself to do a thing is not the right answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think what happens to people is everybody thinks that, I need to make more margin. So I need to do this myself. I hear this all the time. Oh, I need to bring that equipment in. But what people don't take into account is all of the, I don't know what you want to call them, opportunity costs or costs of owning the equipment, and then costs of the learning curve and all that other stuff. Again, if it's your core thing or you want to make it a core thing, you want to make it something that you do on the regular, by all means, but understand that there is that ramp up period, that learning period.
Yeah, 100%.
You're not going to, you're going to make, if this is just something you're going to dabble in every once in a while, I'm not talking necessarily about Sandy and the flags, but just in general.
Sure.
If it's something that you're going to just dabble in every once in a while, you will actually make a lot more bottom line profit by outsourcing. And again, but people don't get that distance away from it to understand that, yes, the actual profit on that order might feel different, but you're not factoring in all of the other parts and pieces and costs and investments and time and everything else. So I'm always a big proponent of outsourcing. Go ahead, Eric.
I mean, shifting. I just want to add to this, not to cut you off, but I'm excited about this topic because it's something I talked about recently and something I'm going to talk about in a future show. Part of this is also that I understand everybody wants to do the creative work. We love doing creative work, and a lot of us get really bound up into it. But having that control, we have to make sure we don't just buy more hobbies for ourselves. There's the amortization rate on the machine itself. How much are we actually going to have to do to even get the equipment in and make it profitable? And then we have to realize, I've been in this situation in shops before. You do a big move toward a certain kind of decoration, and then you find that you can't service your original clientele the same way.
Yeah.
Because you've either shifted or you didn't realize, like, oh, I have to add staff. Like, I literally don't have hands for all of these equipment choices that I have. Like, okay, great. Now I can decorate anything in the known universe. If I'm still the one person running this shop, especially for solopreneurs or small shops, how many hands versus on how many hours do you have for these machines? You couldn't run them all. Yes, there's a lot of stuff that's automated, but there's always a cost as far as time to run for it, time to do all that stuff. So, it's one of those things. But I see this from Sandy. I'm like, okay, you quoted enough for that flag? Yeah, absolutely. If you quoted enough and you know how to sew yourself and you got the equipment for it.
I think what she is saying is that she got a quote from somebody else to do the flag for $1,600.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think. Sandy, help us clarify, but if it's still the same thing.
Yeah. If you feel comfortable with the time, you have the time to work on it. You're not feeling bad about having to experiment, and you're clear with the customer that that's where you're at. Because that's the other thing. The other thing I've seen people do is go, oh yeah, I could do that. And they sell themselves out into doing a thing that they're not, they don't have the expertise to do yet. Yeah. And as long as you're not, taking on the thing where you're going to, embarrass somebody for an event that they don't have their stuff for, then that's a very different animal. But I think it's about knowing where your numbers are. It's about knowing what makes sense for you. And I think that's a big portion of it.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, we're not talking specifically about Sandy's case, but there's just like, I've had multiple people recently talking to me about getting equipment in for a thing that they want to take on. And I'm like, all right, is this going to become a feature you are willing to and ready to sell to everybody from here on out?
Yeah.
Are you going to keep this machine moving, or are you doing it for one order? Will that one order amortize your costs and make sense for you to train on it? Or are you doing this because you want to mess with it? And hey, that can be a viable thing you want to just tell yourself, but then you have to understand how that fits into, your business model. Or if it just doesn't, I mean, that's the truth.
Sure. Yeah. And you're going to have to go with your gut a little bit, because, there is something to be said about that. Like, is this something that could lead to more? But again, as a business owner, the best way to profitability is staying focused in what you love doing all the time and staying focused in that niche. When we start trying to be everything to everybody, is, again, I say it all the time, we end up being nothing to nobody. And that's where the challenge comes in to me, is getting over the shiny object syndrome and actually making good, stable business decisions is what becomes important. Sometimes, though, your gut's telling you, hey, this is going to work. Give it a shot, and if you can sell that for sell the flag for $2,000 and see what happens. If you got a quote for $1,600, you should, that should be a wholesale quote. So maybe you should sell the flag for $2,000, and that may pay you for your time, right?
Well, yeah. And I think that's the truth. But what I finally, in fact, for some of the folks I've been talking to also, is just saying, hey, you really feel like it's coming up and it's worth your time to even investigate that. Do a little bit of sampling, do some time study, figure out your numbers.
Yeah.
If you really think it's coming on and you think you can do it, do a small sample, do something that is a kind of on the microcosm, will show you what the macrocosm, what the big thing will look like.
Yeah.
And do a little bit of time study and say, all right, is it really what I think it is? Invest that time and maybe some materials into making your first samples and say, all right, this is what it really is to me. This is what it means to my shop. This is what it means to my time, what it means with my skills, and just go for it.
Yeah. You've got Goose saying, and then we have all of us nerds that worked long just for the fun of it. So.
Oh yeah, no, same here. Like I've told people a million times, whenever I'm discussing this stuff, there's always the caveat that, if you really just love this and want to do it, hey, there's nothing to tell you can't do this, and not necessarily have every single job you take on be a profit center. It's more about taking on really expensive equipment you don't take out of the box or that you're regretting later.
Yeah.
That's where I've seen the most of the issues, or honestly, cutting yourself off from the other opportunities you were already pursuing that were paying for you to continue doing this work you like to do.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, is sometimes people forget there are 24 hours in a day. And it's the same 24 hours, no matter what you do with your time.
Yeah.
You're going to fill it.
Yeah, exactly. So, letting go of that core too soon or chasing a new, that's a great point, Eric, that opportunity cost there that you're also not factoring potentially. So, all right, Adam, we got you. We're coming back. Don't worry.
For sure.
And I want to hit a couple of other quick comments here, though. Ramona says, work from home. My posted schedule is 9 to 5, but lately I've been getting here 10-ish and finishing at 10. Yeah, make your own hours. Perfect.
That's true.
Didn't get to say hi to Gusta.
Yep.
Let's see here. And then we've got Ramona's question in here too, Eric. So let's tackle Adam's here first, and then we'll come back to Ramona's.
For sure.
But Gusta says 25 if you skip lunch.
Right.
My math is a little fuzzy, but all right. Oops, wrong one. All right. So Adam asks, how often should I either shift content or add content on my website? Eric?
See, I'm going to say don't listen to me and don't do what I do right now, because this is where I have not been working on my website the way I should.
Mute your mic?
You probably should. Because the thing is, I used to be a weekly content update person. I have not been in some time, and it's actually, I think, to my great detriment. If I had it to do again, and I do, I have to start myself over, I'd say I want to be on a weekly content schedule. And this is not necessarily saying you have to make new content, but you should always be trying to post back, link back, bring the content you're doing out in social media into the website at the very least, and do multi-use content as well. Like if you're doing a podcast, go ahead and grab a piece of that and put it there. You're doing a video, link to it, and maybe make a comment about it or describe it in a blog post and put it on your own site, because everything that lives on your own site is yours. Everything that lives out in the social media world could change at any time.
Yeah.
So it's good to have your own content. I'm going to say, do what I say, not what I do. I have been lax in updating my own blog and website, but for sure, if I had it to do, I would want to have a weekly, as I start again. Weekly is how I used to do it and how I would like to do it again.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. And from a SEO Google standpoint, they do like to see fresh content. So having a blog and updating it, right. Here's what I would say. Commit to updating it at a regularly scheduled interval.
Yes.
And some people go, oh, well, I got to do it daily or I got to do it weekly. And that's just too much for them
monthly
to bite off.
Is still fine.
So do it monthly. But here's the real trick, though. What Google is going to want to do is they kind of go, is this regular, right? Is this regular scheduled? So, and I know they don't physically like come back, but the bots kind of go, oh, okay, this is something that posts every Tuesday, or this is something that posts every third of the month, right? And they're coming back to look for that content, and that helps you in the algorithms to be consistent and at the same time. So, you're actually better off updating content, posting a blog once a month, as opposed to doing like 3 or 4 in the middle of a week and then being off for another 3 weeks, and then that kind of thing. So
well, and the thing is, it's a heartbeat. The more times you come back up, yes, you want to be new, you want to be fresh all the time. The thing is, like I said, blasting content out shotgun style and then not coming back is not going to help, because you are only as fresh as you were the last time you posted. So at least if you go monthly and you can do that, then at least once a month you've got a heartbeat. The bots are going to see you've done something new with regularity once a month. Yeah. Otherwise, if you just throw a bunch of new content out, that's not necessarily you're new for a little while, and yes, there's a bunch of stuff to index, but as soon as it ages, it's already aged out.
Correct. Now, but here's the deal, Eric. We know the reality is that content typically does come in bunches, right? We get so what the best thing to do is just produce all that content all at one time, and then just schedule it. Blog posts scheduled, once a month or whatever the case may be. Same thing with social media, just schedule it.
And I'll say, here's the thing that messes me up and that I need to learn better about. Seriously. Just because it feels like somebody's already seen your stuff doesn't mean everybody has seen everything you do. Correct. There is no fan you have that is so into you that they have watched or seen every single thing you've ever done for your entire career.
I know.
It's very unlikely
that of myself, but
surely I would. I do it, but in a negative way. What I assume is that everybody's going to look at
my stuff, Eric. I'm offended.
I may have. The sad thing is, I think I may have watched almost all your stuff. There's some OSG I missed, but not a ton. Like to regular guys, I think I'm caught up. Yeah,
I think you may be caught up. Yeah,
I think I might be caught up. There's only some that I wasn't literally there for.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. It's that. Everybody thinks that everything they've done is old. At least I do. I always think that everybody's going to come to the latest thing I do and go, we've heard Eric banging on about small lettering a million times. Who gives a shit? Like, who cares?
Nope.
Who cares? No. Nope. And the truth of the matter is, no, you do it over and over again. There are new people who come in.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that you have to think about inbound search. Make sure that there are things that are phrased in the way people would ask questions, because it pulls up very easily in search, and that becomes evergreen content that people come to you for. They get to your new content through that old content. So all of the above, these are all important things. Having a library of content, super good, but then having a heartbeat also keeps you alive, keeps you on the list.
Yeah. All right, Eric, I'm looking at the time, and there are other questions. I want to get to some questions. I don't want to just drop in the middle of these. So let's see if we can move a little quickly here. Tanya, hi from Florida. Okay, Ramona, I've got yours there real quick, so we can just kind of wrap this one up here. If I'm posting daily, would it be good to announce I'm going to scale back to weekly? I would say yes. Yep. Just and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's actually a really good decision. Your goal is just be open with the people that are interested in following you and say, hey. Mm-hmm. Tell them why, maybe, or I'm 10, I'm going back to school, that kind of thing. Really. You've got plenty of great opportunities to share what it is you're doing and why you're making changes. So absolutely.
I think so too. And honestly, I'd say the great thing about that is also being able to say, hey, I did this to introduce what I was doing. I was out there throwing out all this content so that I could get you guys, interested. Plus it builds up that library of stuff people can find from you. And now, out to weekly posts. And you can also change your format a little bit. Maybe you were doing really small bites daily. Maybe you can do slightly more in-depth stuff weekly.
Yeah.
It's a good way to try it, but definitely, let people know.
Adam, my son and my 10-year-old is a huge fan of a guy named Mark Rober.
Mm-hmm.
And when Mark Rober first came out on YouTube, he was generating a lot of content really regularly, and he changed to doing it monthly so he could go all in on the projects.
Yeah.
And that wasn't a deterrent at all. In fact, it really was what caused him to blow up and become such a YouTube sensation. So,
well, because the content ultimately just being regular isn't everything.
Yep, exactly.
It isn't everything. Right. Still, people have to want to watch it.
Yep. Sorry. Marianne says, I need to work on this. Great ideas. Ramona says, I've never been a scheduled content provider, but I am, with Aaron's encouragement, working to a weekly poster. Awesome. Ramona,
I need to get him to encourage me more, I guess. Me too, folks.
I kind of beat on you a little bit much already.
I'm a weekly video guy. You get the take up. What else you want?
Right. There you go. All right. All right. We just got to figure out how to make that like easier to, have that automatically go to be your blog update, right? We'll figure that out. Okay. So I want to get to Ramona's question here and make sure and then we'll get to this one, Eric. So we'll
see about that. But okay.
That may be our cutoff. All right. So Ramona asks, "What's your cutoff production number before you outsource?" Can I take a quick crack at this, Eric?
Please.
All right. So here's the way I look at it, and here's what's important to me, and this is why we feel like the 5 keys that we have at our success group is so important, because I can't just give you a magic number and go, if it's over 500, if it's over 48 pieces, whatever there is no magic number for anybody. The magic happens when you know how much it costs you to be in business every day. That's the thing that we pound on. And that's what our 5 keys program. So if you go to oursuccessgroup.com/5 keys, you can get this information, be able to calculate this. And once you have that number, then you can make the decisions about when should I outsource? Is it going to make me more? Thank you, Eric. Is it going to make me more money if I outsource this compared to how much it costs me for my time to do it internally? Totally. Right. So it's about the time that it takes, not the number of so if I can crank those out and do 1,000, then do 1,000. I mean, you guys talk about the patch situation. You knew that the numbers made sense, that you could clearly do it, but the numbers made sense for you to go to an emblem house at a certain point. So I'll be
honest, it's also your production schedule. If I have a bunch of empty production room and the sales are just not flowing, but somebody's coming in with that job, I may choose to in-house something that I would otherwise outsource. That's the flexibility part, but it absolutely is about opportunity costs, how long it's going to tie up your machines, and knowing what that cost is, and also what your customer will handle for delivery.
Nice.
Because outsourcing means lead time. It always does. Outsourcing means we have to deal with whatever lead times are there.
Nice. Yeah, Ramona, appreciate you promoting 5 keys. We would love to have you take a look. I think it'll be very valuable for you. So, we've got that introductory price. I'm not here to sell you anything, but we love we love it when we get new people that join, because I feel so confident in the fact that I know it can make a big difference for people. So that's why I talk about it all the time. And it's not I'm out there pitching it. I really do believe that it can make a big difference. So, all right. Let's see here. I don't think we'll be able to get to this one, Eric, but you guys.
No, I mean, you could try. We don't have a lot of time left.
Not gonna go. All right. Where was Goose's? Tell
us more about the house, Eric. Okay. I'll just give you the shortest rundown I can. The new gas pipes are in the house, and the gas company is supposedly coming to hopefully not brutalize the yard too much more. The Tuesday morning. So we're coming up about 4 days away. Tuesday morning.
I wish I had a confetti cannon. I would, I can go get
Here's
one.
The thing, though. My wife is super angry. They came to spray paint some lines. They painted right over like plants that we had just planted in our yard. They put big yellow stripes across our brand new lavender plants and a bunch of the stuff in the xeric part of the yard. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Well, the
You want
fact
to talk
that
about
it's
social
finally
media? We'll
happening,
talk about
yeah,
that.
the fact that it's finally happening on Tuesday, I think that's cause
Let
for
it go.
celebration, Eric.
For sure.
You know
For
what?
sure.
I'm gonna go run. It's just around the corner. I'm gonna go get one of those confetti cannons. Let's set it off. I think we need to do it. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
So,
time to celebrate.
I'm gonna do it. Thanks, everybody.
See you next week.